What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Views from the Sideline. This episode is really special because it's actually the first episode that we've ever done in person. In 2.5 years of doing this podcast, on and off, this is the first time me and Daniel are in the same room talking with the same mic to you guys, which is really cool, honestly.
Yeah, I moved away. We used to be neighbors, so now it's just special that we can do it together. I think, especially since we've been away for so long, just coming back together and doing this, and hopefully starting off a new grind will be really special for us.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, it's been a while since we did the last podcast. I think we did one before the season even started. So there's going to be a lot of NBA stuff that we have to talk about in this podcast. And I want to start first with the newest thing, the most different change, I would say, from the season, which was the NBA in-season tournament, which ran for about 3.5 weeks at the start of the season, where games on Tuesdays and Thursdays were not, they counted towards teams' regular season records, but they also counted towards the in-season tournament, where if they won against teams in their group, they would go to the quarterfinals, then the semifinals, and then the finals of this in-season tournament, based off of these regular season games. And well, what happened was the Lakers ended up winning the entire thing. Funnily enough, LeBron gets another accolade. The Lakers ended up winning, beating the Indiana Pacers in the finals, and I think it was a massive success.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I think it's an advantage for the teams that aren't as good in terms of playoff potential because they have a chance to compete for something other than a championship. Like we saw the Pacers go all the way to the finals, and I mean, now that we look at the league, I don't think the Pacers have the best odds of going to the finals. So I think it just really.
You mean like for the championship?
For the championship.
Yeah.
So it didn't just give them like a chance to win an in-season tournament, it also gave them more confidence going after that to make a push for the playoffs.
Yeah, and it was also kind of cool how all the monetary benefits were there, where the winning team, each player got an extra $500,000, and everyone was like, "Oh, it doesn't really $500,000 is nothing. LeBron James is making $50 million a year." But what ended up happening is it motivated LeBron and his high-paid teammates to play well, so that they could get guys like Max Christie and their two-way contract players more money, because those guys only make like $500,000 to $1 million per year. So $500,000 extra is a lot for them. So it really motivated LeBron, and it was really nice to see him talk about that and how that was one of the reasons why he wanted to win that tournament so badly.
Yeah.
And also actually the Pacers too. The Pacers, everyone was talking about the Pacers and oh wow, it's surprising they made the finals. But I think part of the reason why they made the finals is because they had so many guys in their roster who were two-way contract G League players, who were rookies that just signed last season for minimum deals and vets too. So there weren't a lot of guys on that roster that made a lot of money. So that $500,000 was a really big incentive for a lot of them, and that's why they played so hard and got to the final.
Yeah, I think he should still continue. I just think the format is really confusing leading up to the quarterfinals. So
really,
if I had to change one thing, it would be the format, because I think the group stuff is a little weird.
Why?
I just think that.
Wait, I feel like it was pretty good.
Yeah, but I felt like I think every group will be competitive just based on the talent of the team. But
yeah.
I feel like they have to like put some standing together where like the first seed plays like, I don't know. Not the 32nd seed, because that would just make it unfair. But they have to put like the first seed plays the 16th seed, and then like the second seed plays like the 15th seed, and they just have to have guys that are more. I don't know. It was really confusing for me just because the groups were kind of randomized. I feel like because
yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, I think in the group for the Lakers, they had the Lakers, the Suns. I actually don't even remember the other two teams.
Yeah,
I think it was the Blazers and the Jazz. So it was a little bit. It wasn't just like you take your division, you play your division, and then the winners of the divisions go on, or the two winners. It was a little more mixed up than that. But I think one of the really good things about this tournament was that the games were really, really good. Like there were a lot of close games where people were playing toward the end of the game and like trying hard and really giving them all, which you wouldn't see normally in the regular season. So I think in that sense, that was a really good benefit from the season. Like the games were just better too. They felt like playoff games.
I think it's just better for the team overall. I'm sure it improved like some teams' chemistry also, but yeah, I feel like some in-season tournament games, especially if you have a good team playing a bad team, it may be a little bit boring. Yeah. But seeing that the good team especially with their rules about like points, how points can be like a deal
Oh,
breaker.
the point differential stuff.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that was really
mean,
good.
I think even if a team's up by like 15, 20 points, they still want to score even more. Like, I mean, there was some like disrespect sometimes at the end where people wanted to score an extra three, but I mean, I guess it's part of this tournament. It's just more entertainment. So
But I think it's stupid that players get mad when people try and chuck
Yeah.
up threes at the end of the game, just in general, because
Yeah.
like it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People want to
yeah.
get their points. It doesn't matter how you
Yeah.
get your points.
It's not disrespectful too, because like you have like rookies or like two-way guys who are getting their minutes in when they're
Yeah,
down 30. I mean, I'm sure they wanted to score a point or two. And
Yeah, they could be their first points in the NBA. It could be their last points too. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So yeah, but I think overall, for me, and then we'll ask you too. I think it's a yes for me in the terms of keeping the tournament. I think it's a good idea,
yeah, for sure.
and I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the fact that it's early in the season too makes it better because if you had it like leading up to the playoffs, I think that would kind of mess it up because you would have, so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
competitive stuff. So I think just having
You don't want people to get tired.
Yeah. So you have that like competitive stretch in the beginning of the season, then you have like a couple months of season play, and then you get your in-season tournament and the playoffs, which is the best part of the year, obviously.
Yeah. I totally agree. So smashing success. But let's move on and let's start to just talk about the general NBA landscape. It's been a pretty crazy season. There was a lot of, I would say that the standings right now, looking through the standings, I did not expect a lot of the teams to be there, to be where they are. Like we have the Minnesota Timberwolves, who last season just that whole Rudy Gobert trade, everyone clowned them last season when they just didn't do it all at all. Didn't make it far in the playoffs, and they switched up this year. They're the first seed right now through almost 30 games, so almost a third of the season. Definitely something good from them. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think they truly unleashed their potential this year because I mean, looking at them on paper, their team's like obviously up there, and
Yeah.
I mean, last season they unleashed their potential too late in the year. I mean, they got some more wins to get the 8th seed and to go play the Nuggets, and obviously when you're playing the Nuggets in the year that they won, you don't have a good chance. So I just think they learned a lot from that, and they learned that they're able to compete, and they just came out rolling this season. I mean, Anthony Edwards is,
Oh, he's so good.
is really good. Tat's playing well. I mean, Rudy Gobert is just helping them so much defensively and on the boards. And I mean, although Mike Conley's old, I think he's still helping them.
Yeah, no, they just have a lot of nice guys that kind of.
And they have a
play
wide
together.
variety too. They have like rookies who are entering the league. They have like Anthony Edwards who's going to step up. Maybe he'll be most improved. You never know. Then you have
Maybe MVP too.
Yeah, maybe potentially. And then you have defensive players like Rudy Gobert as one defensive player of the year a couple times. And then you have like veterans like Mike Conley and those guys who can just give you some advice and they can help mature the young guys, especially in times of crisis when you're in the playoffs or it's the last game of the year. So I think they're going in a very good direction. I won't be surprised if they can maintain. Like I don't know if
You think they're gonna keep it through the entire season, or?
I don't know about the 1 seed. I think it'll be tough, especially late in the year when we have, teams that are struggling now, like the Warriors, the Suns, the Mavericks, that are more experienced than them.
So you think those teams will pick it up more?
I'm sure that the Warriors and the Suns. The Warriors have a lot of problems right now, but
Yeah.
I think this teams like the Suns who are dealing with injuries and the Mavericks are also doing really good. Luka's going crazy every single night I watch him against no matter what team he's playing against, and I think the Nuggets are just too dominant.
So you don't think they're gonna have the 1 seed? The Timberwolves are gonna have the 1 seed.
I think they have the potential to be top 3 for sure.
Top 3, yeah. I see that too, and I think actually I want to kind of shift a little bit to the Suns because right now the Suns are sitting at 10th in the Western Conference. There's actually some reports about how KD is a little bit frustrated and his patience is wearing thin, which is really interesting because you forget that he literally came to the Phoenix in February. It's only been 10 months since he got to Phoenix.
Yeah.
He's only played for 5 or 6 of those. So is it already time? There's been some issues. Bradley Beal's literally not played more than 3 or 4 games for them in a row the entire year. He's been having back problems. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant have been more in the lineup, but even they haven't been able to string together like a truly 30-game stretch of being healthy. So do you think the Suns are gonna be a team that you said they're gonna pick it up, but do you think that they might move on from KD even at the trade deadline already?
KD, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker, they don't have many guys that can, on a bad game from those 3, someone can go in and score like 25 or 30. You have Nurkic, but Nurkic is more of a rebounding player. You don't see him putting up 20, 30 points like very often. So, going into the trade deadline, I don't know who it would be fair for them to trade, but they need to get role players other than them because you you see teams like the Warriors, I mean, in their championship run 2 seasons
Yeah.
ago, they had Jordan Poole. Other than Steph Curry, they had Draymond. I mean, Draymond Green. Obviously, they had their dynasty, but they had
Like
Jordan,
Andrew Wiggins.
yeah,
even.
Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, like
Quantas Anderson too.
Yeah, I mean,
Otto Porter Jr.
I
Yeah, there
think
were some good
I
guys.
think a good reminder is the 2019 Raptors season. No bias.
No bias.
No, because if you think about it, just looking at their roster, I mean, they have Kawhi, but then they have Siakam, they have Kyle Lowry, they have Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet, like OG Anunoby. So like they have so many guys that can just go in and score. Like that happened in the finals. VanVleet had like 30 one game. Kyle Lowry had 30 in the last game. Then you had like Danny Green who went off in game 3 and 4. So like they need a team like that. I mean, you need obviously they have their 3 stars.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think a question mark could be getting rid of Bradley Beal. They got.
You think get rid of Bradley Beal already?
I think seeing. I don't watch the Suns too much, but seeing them, I think they're way too injury prone with him. So I think that they have to get rid of him, and they have to just trade him, not for another star, but for like 3 role players.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with you on this one because if we think about Bradley Beal's history in the league itself, like last season with the Washington, he was sitting out for majority of games. He did not play much. Season before that, he played I think half the games or so. He's not someone in the league that's consistently been playing over. The new benchmark is 65 games to win awards. He's not been above 65 games very much in the past few years. And the Suns traded for him. He's a great player when he's playing, but if he's not on the court, he's not contributing. And I totally see that. I think if you can trade him, maybe get. I'm trying to think who you could go for.
You could go.
I think maybe get like a guy get Dennis Schroeder and a few players on the Raptors, maybe something like that. Some good veteran role players that'll help you with the championship push. I think that's what you need. You don't want to go younger right now.
I mean, I think it's hard just to find a team in mind right now, but I think I kind of thought about the Hawks just playing.
Like DeJounte Murray?
I think maybe get DeJounte Murray, but also get those guys like their rookie center, then like Jalen Johnson, who's
Bogdanovich maybe.
Yeah. Having those type of guys on your team, I mean, who can facilitate the game and they can also just make the team better in terms of their chemistry and just their overall like arsenal. So I think that trading him away. And also, you'll be more healthy. That's just
yeah, you'll have more guys on the court. I feel like
because
right now, even Kevin Durant's playing, but he's not playing every night. He's still out sometimes for 2 or 3 games in a row. And right now, they're at 500, if not a little bit below 500. So it's not really good for them. They need all the guys they can get on the court, healthy, contributing.
Yeah,
because they need to secure a top 5 seed, right?
It's not like they're terrible too. It's just that they need to make that push from being a play-in team, which they're not supposed to beat, to a contender to make the finals, which I'm sure Kevin Durant and Devin Booker want to get back to.
I mean, Devin Booker's never been past the second round, so let's not.
I mean, he made the finals 1 year.
I mean, never mind. I'm just thinking of last year and the year before where he got dominated by Luka, and then, of course, the meltdown versus the
Nuggets. Or it's Pelicans. Wait, who did they lose to in the second round? Oh my God, I'm lost. Or no, they lost the Nuggets in 6. Yeah.
They
lost the Nuggets. Yeah. I mean, that was the year the Nuggets were dominant, but they need a guy obviously it's hard to get Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton because
DeAndre Ayton run it back.
I don't know. I mean, DeAndre Ayton didn't do too well in Phoenix, and
I mean, honestly, I honestly would not have traded Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton in that situation.
I think, and honestly, this is a very hot take that we've talked about. The Kevin Durant trade, although it's Kevin Durant, now that I think about it, imagine having that team, the finals team this year. You have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, DeAndre Ayton. That team, although their star, they don't have Kevin Durant guy. They have Devin Booker.
Devin Booker's a good player. He shows up in the playoffs.
That's the team that we were talking about in the finals. They have those role guys. They have Mikal Bridges. They have Cam Johnson. They have
DeAndre Ayton. He wasn't a star.
I mean, he wasn't a star, but he was
productive. He gave you that double every game.
Yeah, and then maybe their bench was a little weak. I mean, they had Landry Shamet on the bench. They had a team that they beat who? They beat some pretty good teams. They beat the Lakers in the first round with LeBron and AD, who won the championship the year before that. So, and Mikal Bridges. I mean, I don't know if he would have been the same star now with Brooklyn. In Phoenix, but I mean, obviously we just saw it. He got traded to a team. like the Suns had guys where if they go to their own teams, they'll become stars. Like Mikal Bridges went to Brooklyn, he's a star. And Chris Paul went to an even deeper.
I mean,
team.
Chris Paul's not a star anymore, but he gives you production.
Yeah, Chris Paul's the backup for Steph Curry right now, but
yeah,
that's a very hot take right now. I don't have much of it. I don't know. I'm not gonna say like I would not trade Kevin Durant, but
yeah,
I think I would agree with people if they said that they would rather do that.
yeah. I don't think they should have ever traded for KD in the first place. I'm kind of agreeing with you that because everyone was their idea there was KD's gonna bring us over the top, but
I think people overreacted when they lost in 2022 to the Mavericks, and
really,
I think people overreacted because although
it was the Game 7, right?
Yeah,
Luka scored.
It was a Game 7. Luka scored like 50, probably.
I don't know, but I just remember at halftime. The Mavericks at 54, the Suns at 27, Luka at 27.
Yeah.
So he outscored them in the half.
So he definitely scored like 50. So, I mean, a team's going to have a bad game, unfortunately, happened in Game 7 in the second round of the playoffs. But
I guess the idea there was like if you have KD in Game 7, you're not going to lose like that. But it's who you also gave up. Because what they do the year after, they had to play the Nuggets. Nobody on that team could guard Jokic.
Yeah.
Come on.
Respectfully.
Disrespectfully.
The thing is, the Suns probably, in my opinion, had the best chance of beating the Nuggets last year because the Nuggets first round they beat I think they swept. Oh yeah, they beat the Timberwolves in 4 or 5 games first round. Then they beat the Suns.
And then they swept the Lakers.
And then they swept the Lakers and beat the Heat pretty easily, except for games 1 and 2, which were close. So I think the Suns didn't have to. I mean, they traded. Who did they trade for Bradley Beal to the Wizards?
Wasn't Ayton in that 3-team trade?
Ayton was in that 3-team trade. They traded like Bradley Beal to the Suns. The Suns got Nasir Little. Then Ayton was in that deal.
I just remember the Wizards. The Wizards actually gave up nothing for Bradley Beal, and I think that's part of their plan because they realized Bradley Beal's an aging, injured superstar. I don't think we want him.
Like although the Wizards are not a good team, I mean not obviously they're the best record with Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma. In 3 years, I wouldn't be surprised if they're playing.
Yeah, I mean they get their rebuild going.
They're like the youngest team in the NBA right now, so I wouldn't.
Actually, speaking of young teams, I want to talk a little bit about our boy Victor Wembanyama, who debuted in the league finally, and he's been absolutely on a tear. I mean, the Spurs not so much. The Spurs have like 4 wins this season.
Or like 6.
It's 4 or 6, something like that. I don't remember exactly. What I know, they're at the bottom of the standings. Them and the Pistons. We'll get to the Pistons too. But the Spurs, Wembanyama's been on a tear. He's averaging 19 and 10, I think, at this point in the season with maybe almost 2 blocks, 2 per game. So he's having a great season. He's not shooting great from 3, but from the field he's pretty okay in the 40% range. I just want to ask what you think of his season so far and what you see from him.
I mean, it's the rookie year, so I mean, I guess it's just an introduction to his new job, I guess. So
this is orientation.
Yeah. So I mean, he's having a good year, and I mean, although his team's bad, I think it was expected. I mean, I think obviously if I asked a Spurs fan before the season how they think they're going to do, they're going to say the playoffs because you have Wembanyama, who's the next LeBron James. But I mean, I can already see signs of Wembanyama becoming a star in the league one day, and honestly, I'm just impressed by how he's able to maintain his health because being 7'7" in the NBA is not easy. I mean, if you look at all those greats that were 7'6", 7'7", they retired because of injuries because they can't maintain their body. And I actually saw a video like a couple of days ago. You know, Wembanyama does so much stretching, so much agility, just maintaining his body shape, and also not getting injured, preventing his injuries. So that's gonna really lead him to greatness because if you can be 7'7", dominate when you're on the court, and then off the court you're doing what you need to keep your body healthy, that's just super important. And that's really underrated in what basketball is because you don't see that on the court. You have to actually see the outside of the court. So.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with everything you said there. Everything about Wemby, it's his biggest part. I mean, I think he's shown that if this is his rookie year, so this is like his baseline, right? He can only get better from here in most scenarios. So, I mean, he's shown what he can do on the court, and as long as he's healthy, as long as he's available for the Spurs, he plays. They build a better team around him. They get a better point guard than Jeremy Sohan. don't even get me started on him. They build their team around him. They make the play in, get to the playoffs, and when he's 27, 28, they're making their championship contenders. Everything will be good. He just has to stay healthy. I mean, we just talked about Bradley Beal not being healthy has affected the Suns. So health is just a very big thing, and I think, as you said, it's a very underrated part of his game because showing up is also part of the game, right? Being available to play. It's like Zion, bro. You know, Zion always drops 20 and 12 every game. I swear. He's averaged like 26 through his first, however many games he's played. He's consistently good when he plays, but he's never healthy. He plays like 30 games a year. He's overweight. He doesn't play, and
he doesn't listen to his trainer.
He doesn't listen to his trainer. Like even Stephen A. Smith is calling him out. And there was a whole thing there. So health is such an underrated aspect of this game, and if he can stay healthy, I think he's good. But do you think he's the rookie of the year right now? Because there's another guy in OKC who didn't play all of last year, but he's been looking really good this year too.
It's gonna be
Chet Holmgren. Yeah. He's averaging pretty much the same stats. He's like 18 and 10, same amount of blocks, but his efficiency is much higher though.
I don't usually look at rookie of the year races because usually it's really obvious every year. But this is one of the years where it could be Wembanyama, it could be Chet. Honestly, I don't know. I've watched a lot more Chet than Wembanyama this year, so I can't tell you what I think. But just seeing Chet, Chet's similar to Wembanyama, tall, skinny, and I'm sure Chet does his off-court stuff because he hasn't gotten injured too much. But looking at Chet's ability to just block shots I think that's just what makes him different. I think Wemby is different in the ability that he can score, he can shoot. I know Chet can too, but seeing how dominant Chet is in the paint is just so fun to watch.
So impressive.
Yeah. And
also, I think one of the things that obviously the Thunder as a whole are a better team. Right, you have SGA, Jalen Williams is having a good year. Then obviously Chet. They have just a good team in general, and that's why they're like second or third in the West right now. Yeah. Third in the West, I believe. Third in the West. They beat the Timberwolves yesterday.
Yeah, by 20-30.
Yeah. They're third in the West, but I think you have to give some of that credit to Chet, and I think having the better team. Do you think that factors into it? Because right now their Spurs are not making the playoffs. They're bottom right. Yeah. Do you think that has anything that affects your rookie of the year choice? Because their stats are really, really identical.
That's just really hard because I think if you reverse their positions, it would be the same thing where the Thunder will still be third and the Spurs will be the worst team in the league because they're both young and you can't. They're not going to be like the LeBron James in 2018 leading that bum Cavs team to the finals. I think they shouldn't factor it in for Rookie of the Year. For MVP, I'm sure you have to, right? Because you can't have Wemby scoring 35 a game, but then his team's
Yeah, for sure.
But I think for Rookie of the Year, you shouldn't factor it because logically, if you look at the past 10 years plus, rookies have gotten drafted to bad teams. Just because
this is how it works.
Yeah, teams tank to get good players. I'm sure next season the Pistons will draft that guy from the G League Ignite first round. So
imagine they get the 5th pick.
That'd be so.
The
funny.
Pistons. Oh.
Yeah. The Pistons need a pick at this point, but they should not factor it into the first Rookie of the Year. But transitioning to the Detroit Pistons.
Detroit basketball has been it's been amazing this year. You know the Pistons' current record. It's so funny. 27 straight losses, right? So they're 2-28 right now. They started the season 2-1. They were up there in this.
And they had a great win against. I think it was Chicago to go 2-1, where Cade went crazy.
And since then it's been
2 months without a win. So
they've been 0-27. They just yesterday night they lost the Brooklyn Nets at home. Cade Cunningham dropped 41 points, but they were not able to beat the Nets, who beat them I think 118-113. And now they have the single longest losing streak within a single season in NBA history of 27 losses. They beat out both the 2011 Cavs the year after LeBron left and the 2015 process Sixers, who both had 26 straight losses.
You can't make excuses for them because 27 losses on any team is just
that's horrendous. That's a 4-50 win pace. They're on pace to get 7 wins.
I just think they're obviously a young team, but you can't make an excuse for that. I think Cade Cunningham has to go.
Cade Cunningham has to go?
No, not because he's bad, for his own.
Oh, for his own sake, free Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to be like
free him because you saw it last night. He dropped 41 against the Nets, who are a decent team in the East.
Well, they're only at 500. They're not even that good. They're 500.
They're 500, but they're better than they were 5 years ago. So, I think Cade has to go to a team that needs a guard. I don't know.
So you think Cade needs to? I think Cade on the Blazers or something would be really good.
Cade on the Blazers.
A young team that's in a better rebuilding position than the Pistons are, because the Pistons are the worst team in the league by far, right?
Yeah. I think Cade needs to go to the Spurs.
What about? That'd be great. would be.
Cade and
I like that
Cade
idea.
and Wemby on the same team, and then they just give like Devin Vassell to like the Pistons.
Well, they just signed Devin Vassell. They can't give him up.
Yeah.
I think they get rid of Sohain, Keldon Johnson,
Yeah.
Sun Moy. But I want to ask actually on the line. You're saying get rid of Cade, like free Cade, but if you're the Pistons GM right now, first of all, if you're the Pistons GM, you should know that your job, you're out of here, you're gone, okay? Your job is gone within the next few weeks. Like, there's no way they're keeping you long term unless you have something on the owner.
I'm thinking about.
But what I meant to ask is, what if you're the Pistons GM or you're the Pistons ownership?
Yeah.
What are you doing to fix this? Is this something that you're gonna let this lose out this whole season?
Honestly,
Get to 30 losses in a row.
I say.
Like, what are you doing?
I mean, it's.
Are you making moves at the trade deadline?
Yeah. So it's like a little over a third through the season, but I think the Pistons have 0% chance of going to the play-in tournament. I mean, not just because they're bad, but just because there's so many competitive teams in the East. There's no way you're gonna catch up to them.
Like the Toronto Raptors sitting at 11th.
Yeah. Okay, you did not have to call me out like that. But I think that the Pistons need a tank this year. Tank the year, like literally.
Tank the whole year.
I don't care.
But the thing is, it doesn't even matter because the top 3 picks have the same percentage chance.
Yeah.
Of getting. I mean, the 3 worst records have the same percentage chance of getting top 3 picks.
Yeah, that's a good
because they got rid of the tankings.
I mean,
like tanking. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to win. They might be trying. They're trying to win games and they're still losing. Believe me.
I think I'm surprised about that. Monty Williams is the coach and they're losing so much because Monty Williams is known to be. I mean, so far he's known to be a good coach because
the way he did with the Suns, the Pelicans too.
Yeah, and I mean, and although they lost, I mean, the Suns lost in the playoffs. He led them from a terrible team to a championship to 2 straight second rounds. Like that's not bad at all. So I'm sure every team wants to be in the playoffs. So.
The Pistons definitely do.
Yeah, so
they said before the season we want to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Everything's turning around. And
so
things did turn around for them.
I don't know what they have to do honestly. If I'm their GM, I mean I'm sure they're gonna fire their GM. I don't know about Monty Williams. I'm surprised. I think Monty Williams. I mean, after this season, I don't know if they're just gonna do like a one and done for Monty Williams. But I mean I think Monty Williams should probably coach somewhere else. But their team is just like, if you look at their team, you have Cade Cunningham, who's obviously, I mean, he's good. You have Jalen Duren, who's their, actually, I don't think he's a rookie. Is he? No, he's not their rookie, but I mean.
He's a solid player.
Yeah, he's solid. Then you have.
Jaden Ivey, too.
Yeah, you have Jaden Ivey, you have Killian Hayes, you have.
Killian Hayes needs to go. Okay. I'm off the Killian Hayes hype train. I was never on it, but
yeah,
I'm even more away from it now.
Yeah. So. It's hard to know who to trade because you have Cade. I mean,
because everyone's young. I get what you're saying. It's like hard to know who you have to trade because everyone's so young and they're still just losing.
If you go to like 2027, you don't know how good that team's gonna be. Like maybe they'll be way better, but I mean, trading they don't have many veterans. I mean, maybe trade Bogdanovic.
Yeah, but you can't get anything.
Yeah, you can't get much from.
I think they should just do the Thunder thing, get as many picks as possible, and start this thing again. Start this thing again. Get rid of Ivy. Get rid of Duren. Keep Cade. Everyone else can go. In my opinion.
I say, why don't they trade Duren? Maybe they can get something for him.
I think even Jaden Ivey, they can get something for him.
Yeah, maybe trade Ivan and Duren in a package for the trade deadline. I just don't know who.
I would just try and get picks, like get first round picks.
Yeah, get picks.
Trade them to the Blazers. Trade them to the teams that want young players. And I think because as of right now, this team is not. Imagine this team somehow made a push for the play-in. I think that'd be so. They started to turn their season around.
Imagine they got like a 30-game win streak or something.
27-game loss by 30-win win streak.
Well, they're playing the Celtics and they're playing the Raptors. Those are their only chance. I have a feeling the Raptors are gonna somehow.
You think this Raptors will somehow lose?
Yeah.
That would be
the
really
Raptors
funny.
have been super disappointing this year for me, so I think.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. How about that? You know?
Yeah. So I mean, first game of the year we beat the Timberwolves, who are now the first team in the West. I felt amazing about this team. I was like, this team is everything now. We got rid of Fred VanVleet, which was a little hard to do, but we got rid of him. We got Dennis Schroeder, who was world champion in the summer, and
he played solid throughout the year for the Lakers too.
Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam are amazing players, but I think if this team wants to get their wheels rolling and be a contender, they need to trade everybody and rebuild around Scotty Barnes.
So buy Siakam, buy OG,
trade everyone away.
Buy Jakob Poeltl, like all of them.
I mean, I don't think you can trade your whole roster, but
you know what I mean. Get rid of as many.
Get rid of them, yeah. So because I think Scotty Barnes is averaging like 22 points in the year. Like I think he's averaging like 8 rebounds, like 4 assists. Like he's having a good year. Wouldn't be surprised if he's named an All-Star like reserve, but I think that Siakam is worth so much right now, and currently in this season, Scotty is outperforming him.
Yeah.
So I think trade away Siakam, try to get some good role players. Trade away. I just don't think we need a star. I mean, a star player. I mean, for some reason, a lot of people hate Toronto. I don't know why. Like the city itself, like, it's not bad, man. Like, come on, it's Toronto.
It's a nice place to live.
Yeah, it is a nice place to live. So, um, yeah, I would rebuild around Scotty. I think Darko is. He's a questionable. I mean, I live in Charlotte and I went to the Hornets Raptors game and the Raptors ended up losing. But Darko, it just sitting behind him and watching him coach, he seemed really harsh on the players. I mean,
Really?
and the players seemed tired in the second quarter. I think Darko is a great coach. He just being able to just rally with your players and just light the energy up is something that a coach really needs in their team, especially in.
Do you feel like he does that or no?
He does for sure.
So are you keeping Darko? Is my question.
I mean, we just got him. So
I'm surprised they fired Nick Nurse because Nick Nurse is supposed to be one of the best coaches in the league.
Yeah, I mean, he's with the Sixers now. They're doing really
amazing.
Good. Yeah. Amazing. So, but I think it's time for a full change. I think we were at our peak. We won the championships. Bubble was a little disappointing. I mean, we lost to the Celtics team. It's not the best team in the league.
In Game 7 too.
Yeah,
so that was tough.
Down in 2021 was just our main stadium was in Tampa. Like, come on, man. So that was just a bad year. 2022 made the playoffs with Scotty. Lost to Joel. We were down 3-0. Almost got it back to Game 7. We lost by 30 in Game 6. But we got it to Game 6 in Toronto. So the team's very up and down because we won a championship 2 years later out of the playoffs. So or the play.
Well, yeah, because they lost Kawhi. That's their best player.
I mean, we lost Kawhi.
Danny Green.
Lost
Kyle
Lowry, who was our main veteran. So, I mean, looking at the Raptors team right now, we don't have any veterans.
So, but I think you're saying that doesn't matter. You're saying just rebuild around Scotty.
I'm saying rebuild around Scotty. I'm gonna say keep Darko maybe for. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, we don't know how they're gonna do this year. They're like what? I think they're like
11th right now.
Yeah, they're 11th.
So they're sitting on the play.
They're not terrible, but
they're not championship contenders.
They're not championship contenders for sure. So I think wait, see how the season. I mean, I say wait until the trade deadline, see how we're doing. I say no matter how we're doing, even if we somehow go up to like above 500, I say still trade Pascal.
You say he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the teams that want him, it's the Pistons.
The Pistons. He's gonna save the Pistons from that 27 game.
The Pistons, the Pacers, and the Kings. I mean,
the Kings would be good. I feel like the Kings could offer something.
I think the Pistons.
If you can get like Keegan Murray or something.
Yeah, I think Keegan Murray gets a young guy on the team, or if you want to trade with the Pacers, get like Bruce Brown, Obi Toppin, something like that. I think Dennis Schroeder is a little like.
Do you think Dennis Schroeder needs? I mean, Dennis Schroeder.
We just got him.
But I mean, I think the Raptors thought they would be better than they would this year. Like, that's the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So
I think they probably thought they were top 8, and that's why they signed guys like Dennis Schroeder because like, oh, we need those veteran players who will take us far in the playoffs.
Dennis Schroeder is averaging. He's underperforming. I mean, obviously Dennis Schroeder won't replace Fred. He's actually not doing that bad. He's averaging 14 points, 7 assists per game. That's
not bad at all.
That's actually way better than I thought he was doing. Screw this, bro. I mean, yeah, it's tough because I think just watching the Raptors, Scotty's dominant. We missed too many threes. Missed too many open threes. In the past, 3 years, our rebounding has been a big problem, and I feel like we've improved that. But I think just our defense in general is not. Our perimeter defense is bad, and our 3-point shooting is bad. So just perimeter.
Yeah.
So I mean, Scotty. Yeah, even Scotty. He gets those 30-point games every game, or 25, but it's mainly paint stuff mid-range. So I say trade if we want to trade Siakam and OG because I mean those are the 2 guys that everyone's talking about trading in this trade deadline. I'm sure there'll be the bigger names in the trade deadline. So I think we need.
I think you should try and trade with the Nets. Maybe get Mikal Bridges or someone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen.
But
it'd be really nice if you could get Mikal Bridges or Cam Johnson.
I mean, trading Scotty Barnes or.
Siakam. It's all about Siakam.
I mean, I don't see how the Nets couldn't accept it or get trade Siakam.
Well, Mikal Bridges, I think they'd want him over.
Trade Siakam and Podol for Nick Claxton and Cam Thomas or something.
That's not bad.
Because if you do that, you have. I mean, your starting lineup will have Dennis Schroeder, which is fine. He's going to get your points. He's going to pass the ball. You have Gary Trent, who's Honestly,
Honestly,
disappointed.
Gary Trent might be a good player to trade because
Yeah.
I feel like championship contenders always want the 3-and-D
Yeah.
shooting guard, small forward.
I think if we get Cam Thomas, who's a young shooter, and he's obviously, I mean, at the beginning of the year he was scoring 40, then 4 points, then 30, then 10. But I mean, he's starting to become more consistent as his career is going on. He's young, but
Yeah.
Nick Claxton is a very underrated center in my opinion. He's a really good center. So,
And he's young too.
and he's young, exactly. So if the Raptors can just build this young team with Scotty Barnes leading it and having a couple guys on the side, maybe turning it into like the 2019 Raptors, having a star player and having these small guys on this who can make the team a play-in team or an 8th or 7th seed or 6th seed.
Alone without.
But then having that star player who can push them to be like a 3rd seed or something.
Yeah.
I think if the Raptors can create that, that would be awesome.
And I feel like they have. I think they have the assets to trade away to do it.
Yeah.
I think they can go both routes. They could blow up the entire team, keep Scotty, get a bunch of first-round picks and rebuild, or they could go the way where they trade for valuable players, like with the Nets. I mean, honestly, if they could trade, they can't trade with the Knicks, unfortunately, because they have Julius Randle, Pascal Siakam. It's too similar.
I don't need that.
But imagine you could get like Emmanuel Quickly, Josh Hart, and a few guys like that. That'd be pretty good too.
Robinson.
Dante DiVincenzo too.
Yeah.
If you could get some guys like that.
Yeah, they just like Masai. For some reason, like for the past couple of seasons, like they've always talked about like OG getting traded or Trent getting traded, and they finally traded. It's like they traded Norman Powell in 2020 to like Blazers or Clippers.
But OG's still been on the team.
So
I think OG would be so valuable to so many teams too.
Yeah, I mean,
imagine honestly call the Lakers or someone.
Yeah, I think OG is going to be either 1st or 2nd team all defensive this year because
he's consistently always there.
Consistently there. So either one of them. Like Siakam and OG, I think we have to trade one of them, maybe both of them, to get like a lot in return.
Yeah,
because their values are so high right now. We can't wait another year and then their values will. I think last year OG's value was honestly lower than it was this year. Potentially, I don't know. Their values are so high. They have to trade.
Yeah, I feel like they can offer, as you were talking about the 2019 Raptors with how Siakam would contribute and how OG would also contribute around Kawhi Leonard, around Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet. I think that's a really good point where these guys, if you can put them into a championship contending team or even like a mid-level playoff team, they boost that team up to a top 3 seed, top 4. Yeah. Because they provide the skill set that every team wants. They got the shooting, they have the defense, they have a reliable. Like Siakam's going to be reliable. He can be a reliable 3rd option, 2nd option on a team, even a 1st option.
I mean, and our problem was like keeping big leads because I think our team is good at starting off early against any team. I feel like every single time we've played the Bucks, the Celtics, the Warriors, the Heat, we're either even in the first half or we're winning by a lot. I mean, happened in the play, and unfortunately we're up by 20 and lost. But I think even just make this team like in that first year. I mean, this season or next season, making the first round and losing in like 6 games to a good team, I think that can just boost us. I think that can give us more confidence going into next season that we're, it's literally the first year. I mean, especially if we make a trade with Pascal and OG, we're going to have like 2 months before playoffs. So if like 2 months in, if we're already making the playoffs and losing to a good team, I mean, imagine a year. So the team has potential. Masai Ujiri just has to do something.
I feel like he hasn't done much.
Because I think if Masai doesn't trade Siakam or OG by trade deadline, he has to get fired.
Really? You're gonna fire? Everyone loves Masai though.
I think he has to go.
Really?
I think he's pushing this team in a bad direction because we're getting progressively worse and worse and worse.
And he's not doing anything.
Like our team's been the same every year, and we got Jakob Poeltl back from San Antonio in February, and everyone thought, oh my god, our defense is gonna get fixed, and there we go. We lose.
It wasn't fixed.
We are up by 20 and lose it to Chicago in the play-in tournament, with DeRozan's daughter being the reason why we lost the play-in tournament. That's just stupid.
I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of funny. I wasn't even too pissed. It was just so funny.
Yeah, so we've talked a lot about the Raptors, but I think to wrap it up, we're gonna go to where we always go, which is Los Angeles and the Lakers. Our favorite team out there with my boy LeBron James, Anthony Davis. They made the Western Conference Finals last season. Obviously, got swept by the Nuggets. Nobody on that team could guard Jokic, even with Anthony Davis, Defensive Player of the Year finalist. But this season, they're hovering around 500. They went on as I said, they won the in-season tournament. They started around 500, then won all their in-season tournament games, going undefeated, and they were at one point they were like 16-9, 15 and 8. Really solid record. They were top 4 in the West, but since then they had a 5-game losing streak. They dropped them to the Spurs, to the Knicks, like teams that you don't really want to drop to, and now they're kind of sitting around 500 as the 8th, 9th seed. So I just want to know what you've kind of seen from them. People are hinting at Zach LaVine coming to the team. They're hinting at getting rid of D'Lo.
I didn't mention that.
DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. The Raptors actually were interested in Zach LaVine. Now that I think about it.
Which is kind of weird, though.
Yeah, it is
kind
of
weird.
Old. It is kind of weird, yeah. I mean, I think Zach LaVine for the Lakers would be, I mean, I just don't know who you would trade for that.
I think they're going to say, like, D'Lo, Rui. You can't trade Austin Reeves.
I think Austin Reeves is untouchable because Austin Reeves is the youth that
that's that franchise.
So I think, I mean, we saw their potential in the season tournament. They can beat anybody. And although they played like the Pelicans and the Pacers to end it, you played the Pacers who beat the Bucks 2 days ago. And Pacers are obviously a team with a bright future. So the Lakers can compete with young teams, although they're old. So, I mean, you can, I mean.
But what do you think they need to do? Do you think I'm saying keep the current roster. Maybe Darvin Ham has to go, but I would just say try and find a good consistent starting lineup because I feel like every game they're switching people out. It's different. Sometimes Cam Reddish is there, Austin Reeves is benched, then D'Lo is benched.
I think it's
get
weird.
some consistency there.
I think the team. I mean, since LeBron's been there, every year they can win a championship. They can make the conference finals or something like that. So I think the team's super weird because I don't understand why they're benching Austin Reeves because you have Austin Reeves scoring 26 off the bench. So like, bro, just put him in and he'll score like 30 in the starting lineup. So
yeah. I mean, I don't. That starting lineup. One of the things that they've been really bad in is starting games off. They're always down big in the first quarter and always down big going into the beginning of the second half.
Yeah. See, I think in the offseason in the trade deadline last year, everyone was saying how Rob Pelinka was the best, moves in the league. And
best GM.
Yeah, best GM in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, they got their role players. They got Jackson Hayes. They got Cam Reddish. They got Torian Prince, who started for them.
Hey, he's playing well though.
He's playing good.
He's shooting well from 3.
They're a balanced team. That's the team that you want.
But why are they not top 3? Why are they're losing to all the good teams? Sixers, Timberwolves, Clippers. Yeah. I mean, they're losing to every team that's good. Even.
What you said, they just have to start the game off right because LeBron is just you can trust him in any situation.
Yeah.
He's LeBron. AD's super clutch too, and Austin Reeves is also clutch. So. I think they just have to use them better. I don't know because I think
you have to start Austin. I think LeBron point guard, Austin Reeves shooting guard, Torian Prince, and then Cam Reddish, Anthony Davis.
Honestly,
I want 3-point shooting.
You know what I say?
Don't start Vanderbilt.
Do this. It's a weird lineup, but honestly,
Rui actually.
Do Reeves
point guard.
Yeah. Then shooting guard. Okay, this is gonna sound weird, but I'm just brainstorming. So do Austin, do LeBron at the shooting guard, then a small forward.
LeBron at the shooting guard?
Or no. Austin Reeves. It's a big lineup. So Austin Reeves, Rui at the shooting guard. Do LeBron, AD, and then at center, it's gonna be a surprise. Jackson Hayes.
You want AD at the 4?
I think Jackson Hayes. Just looking at his stint in New Orleans last year when he was their starting center, he was amazing. He was big on the boards. He would slam it, alley-oop, slam it. I think he was so dominant, and I think just with this Lakers squad right now, they're not giving him enough time to show that. So
I feel like we've been saying this since the beginning. I do agree on the fact that Anthony Davis needs to play power forward. Why do they keep going back to Anthony Davis center? I get the 3-point shooting. You want someone who can shoot. But when they won that championship, it was Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee, who wasn't not the best starting center in the league, but by any means, best even starting role-playing center by any means. But him and Anthony Davis in those two in that lineup was so useful to them. They had like 35-year-old Dwight Howard coming off the bench.
It's just so hard to
That
think
was
about
so
it.
effective for them. I don't know why they ever went away from it after that year.
It's just so hard to think about it because they've got so many good players. They got Rui from the Wizards, and before they got him, Rui was really good with the Wizards, and he was their star player. Then you had Jackson Hayes, who was in New Orleans. He was playing really well. You had D'Lo, who was playing all right. I think he was in
Well, D'Lo's just really inconsistent.
Yeah, D'Lo
he just does not have back-to-back good games.
Yeah, so I think you would have to use Rui more, use Hayes more, and then you have your Reeves, LeBron, and AD, and then off the bench you have D'Lo, who's solid. Then you have I don't know their bench. I don't know their bench at the top of my head, but I know they have a good bench. Like Torian Prince, Cam Reddish, you had those guys come off the bench, and they're good. They would be good role players for sure off the bench. I think you have to start Rui though, because Rui is.
Yeah, I think maybe if you don't put Anthony Davis at power forward, put Rui at power forward, LeBron small forward or point guard.
Yeah, I just think I mean it would be really hard if you have like Austin Reeves and then I'm saying put Rui, LeBron, AD, and Jackson Hayes in the.
Maybe not Jackson Hayes. If you're gonna start Rui, I think it should be. I think I'm gonna LeBron, Austin Reeves, either Cam Reddish or Torian Prince, not Jared Vanderbilt, Rui, and Davis.
I say start Rui and give Hayes more minutes.
Start Rui, give Hayes more minutes.
Yeah.
Depending on the type of. Yeah, I want to see more lineups where Anthony Davis plays with the center.
I want to see. I think Anthony Davis and Jackson Hayes could be a good duo.
Because Anthony Davis also just matches up so well against power forwards. Every power forward these days is like a stretch four, lanky guy who's not going to be playing in the post. And AD would dominate against those
guys.
AD
can shoot too. Like AD's not a bad shooter.
AD's not a terrible shooter. I mean, he's not great, but
he's a center. He's a really good shooter for a center.
Exactly. And from the mid range, at least when he's on, he's on.
Like so we saw in 2020. So.
Literally 2020, the bubble finals, he would not miss from the mid range in any of those games.
And he was going against Bam Adebayo, who's big, physical. So
yeah, I think because look at the Timberwolves, right? They have Karl Anthony. I mean, AD's not Karl Anthony Towns when it comes to shooting. Cat's a way better shooter, but like they start Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns in lineups and it works. They do Naz Reid and Cat. They do Naz Reid and Gobert sometimes even. They run these two big man lineups and it works. Even the Cavs, right? Jared Allen, Evan Mobley. They're not as successful of an example, but I think you go back to that two big man lineup. You have a consistent lineup. If you're not going to go to that, you have a consistent lineup with shooting, and they can make a push. I think because the thing that you want to do more than anything is not play LeBron James 40 minutes a game in the regular season. You need him to be resting because in the playoffs, it doesn't matter what seed your team is with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They are always going to be a threat to get out of the finals.
LeBron like 32 minutes a game, 32, 34.
But they got to be winning. You know what I mean? They got to put the game. They got to start the games out strong. They've started too many games.
I think you have to like start the game out strong, keep them in for most of the first quarter, like 10 minutes, 10, 11 minutes, and then second quarter, if you're on a roll, then just put out those guys. Put out Jackson Hayes. Put out Rui. Put out
Bro, Vanderbilt cannot shoot.
Put him out,
so bad.
But put out Hayes. Put out your bench lineup can be like Hayes, Rudy. Like you can put D'Lo. You can put Reeves in more in the game, and then you can put in.
Yeah, I think D'Lo in the second unit is just a good idea.
Like,
he'll provide that punch.
Like Cam Reddish and Torian Prince, like alternate them. So I think that the Lakers should have to put that unit more. That's a really young unit too. So I think go off to a hot start. Bench LeBron. You can keep AD.
I say play AD as much as possible. I don't really care. I know there's injury concerns, but like the time to win is right now. AD is also 30. You need to win. LeBron's going to be retiring soon. Come on.
I think LeBron. Yeah, I think this is the year where if they do that, they can go far.
Because their team. I don't think they need to do a trade for like DeJounte Murray or something.
I think in the Western Conference, the only team that can stop them right now
is the Nuggets.
That's it.
I think the Nuggets.
The Warriors are buns.
You don't think the Timberwolves or someone?
Oh.
I think the Timberwolves will be too inexperienced.
See, Timberwolves and Thunder are both really good teams.
I don't think the Thunder. I think the Thunder are young. I think the Thunder are the Kings of last year.
Yeah, I think both teams, the Thunder and the Timberwolves, they'll be top
teams this year.
They'll be top 6 this year for sure.
No, yeah, I don't think the Thunder, the Kings, the Warriors, Clippers don't. No, the Clippers are not a threat. I think the Timberwolves and the Nuggets are the two teams that could be a threat to the Lakers.
We didn't talk about the Clippers too much, but. With the James Harden stuff.
Oh yeah, James Harden trade.
But I mean, just to keep it short, I mean, the Clippers lost a lot, then they won a lot. So I think that the Clippers, if they're on, they can be a threat. They just have so much star power. It's so hard to have one guy do really good.
It was just weird to have 3 guys like Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi who are all ISO scorers.
And then you still have Westbrook, and you have
It's just weird to have all 3 of them in the same lineup. Because they all do a lot of the same thing. And effectively, what happens is you reduce 2 of them to spot shooters.
They're trying to do like the Kyrie, KD, Harden thing.
And that just didn't work. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, they were really good in the playoffs against the Bucks, and then
injuries. Yeah, I think that Nets team.
See, that's the thing with those star teams with 3, 4 star players. Like if you're in the playoffs or late in an important game, one guy gets injured, you need one guy to score 50. Luckily, KD just went off. And they almost won. But he would have. I mean, I don't think people can do that now.
I get what you're saying. You're saying, if you have three guys, for example, Kyrie, Harden, KD,
Like,
and then Kyrie and Harden are injured, or even just Kyrie gets injured, then
it's
the role players can't pick up the slack.
Yeah, like I mean, if you look at 3-4 guys with 3-4 star players on a team, usually other than those guys, the team's terrible or the team's not good. Like on that Nets team, who did they even have?
They had Nick Claxton, but he wasn't as good as
Nick Claxton was just super young. He's like a rookie practically, maybe second year. So
no, they did Joe Harris actually.
Yeah,
Joe Harris, but he forgot how to shoot in those playoffs.
Yeah.
I remember.
And now he's like somewhere out. I think
he's in the Pistons.
Yeah, he's in the Pistons.
He's in the Pistons. Joe Harris, Alex Bergson, boys. But yeah, I mean, it's overall just a crazy NBA season. We're definitely going to be more consistent. I think now that we've started the ball rolling, we'll get more podcasts out there. I'm finally happy to do an in-person podcast after so many years.
Yeah, I know.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching and stay tuned for more content.
Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe on all platforms, and we'll see you guys next time.